It was a Monday morning in the middle of November when the city wore its usual mask of cold ambition. Cars roared down the main avenue, people moved like clockwork, and no one looked up from their phones inside the golden glass building of Arista Corp. The city's largest tech firm CEO, Elena Hayes, sat behind her desk, reviewing quarterly losses and firing off email. With the precision of a surgeon, her staff called her the Ice Queen, not because she was cruel, but because she was untouchable, flawless, and frozen in her own world. But fate doesn't knock politely, it whispers through the smallest souls outside. Across the street from the corporate tower stood a little girl of barely 7. Her hair was tangled, her shoes were worn, and her coat was 2 sizes too small. She clutched a tiny teddy bear whose fur had long since lost its shine. The girl's name was Layla. For 3 days she had been coming to the same cafe across from the tower, sitting by the window, watching the people inside as if searching for someone she recognized. That morning, the wind was biting. She pressed her nose to the glass and whispered to her bear, "Maybe she'll come today." Inside the cafe, Elena entered for her usual black coffee. Sugar, no cream, no conversation. The moment she stepped through the door, every pair of eyes lifted. She was elegance wrapped in silence. Her heels clicked against the marble floor like a metronome of authority. She didn't notice the child at first until she heard a soft, trembling voice. "Ma'am, excuse me." Elena turned. The little girl was standing by her leg now, looking up, her eyes wide and filled with something deeper than fear, something like hope. "Ma'am," she repeated, I don't have a mama. Can I spend a day with you for a second?" Time froze. The chatter stopped. Even the barista forgot to pour coffee. Elena blinked, certain she misheard. "What did you say?" she asked softly. The child swallowed hard. "I said, can I spend just one day with you? You look like my mama. She used to smile like you before she went to heaven." Elena felt the words like a knife twisting somewhere deep inside her chest. She wanted to step back to regain her balance, but her feet wouldn't move. Memories locked away for years rattled again the doors of her heart. "Where are your parents?" she finally asked. "My papa is gone too. He went to find work and never came back." The cafe fell silent again. Someone whispered, "Poor kid." Another murmured, "She's been around here all week." Elena looked down, trying to steady her breathing. She wasn't good with emotions. She was good with contracts, deadlines, and mergers. Yet this little girl, with her cracked voice and trembling fingers, made her world tremble. She crouched to the girl's level. "What's your name?" "Sweetheart, Layla," the girl said, smiling faintly. "Mama said if I get lost, I should find a lady who looks kind." "You look kind, ma'am." Elena almost laughed at the irony. Kind. One had called her that in 10 years. "Do you have anyone to stay with?" Layla shook her head. "The shelter's full. I sleep near the church sometimes, but it's cold now." Elena looked toward the window, her reflection staring back. A woman who had everything except warmth. Her assistant would soon text, reminding her of the 9:30 meeting with investors. She should leave, she should walk away, but something held her still. "Come," she said finally, "let's get you something warm to eat." The girl's eyes lit up. "Really? You mean it?" Elena nodded. "Once, yes, sit with me." They found a corner table. Elena ordered pancakes, hot chocolate, and extra syrup. Layla devoured each bite with small, hungry hands, watching her. Elena felt a lump rise in her throat. When was the last time she had shared a meal with anyone without checking her phone? When was the last time someone looked at her not for power, but for comfort? After breakfast, Layla whispered, "Thank you, Mom. You remind me of Mama. She used to hold my hand like this." Elena hesitated, then let the girl slip her tiny fingers into hers. Something inside her cracked. The ice began to melt. They walked out of the cafe. The wind had softened. Or maybe her heart had. Elena found herself asking, "Where do you want to go?" "Layla," the girl looked up at the towering building of Arista Corp. "Can I see where you work? I always wonder what people do in tall glass houses." Elena smiled faintly. "It's not as magical as it looks." Pleased that one word, soft pleading, broke the last wall around her. "All right," Elena said, "but just for a little while." The elevator doors opened with a soft chime, revealing the glittering marble floor of the Arista Corporation's top level. Layla's eyes widened in awe as she stepped out beside Elena. Everything shimmered. The tall glass walls, the glowing screens, the quiet hum of machines. To a child who had been sleeping near a church pew just nights before, this felt like walking into another world. "Wow," she whispered, pressing her tiny palms against the glass that overlooked the city. "It's so high up here, you can see the clouds." Elena watched her silently. For years, she'd walked these same floors, surrounded by power and silence, but now, with Layla beside her, it all looked different. Almost alive. She found herself smiling. Without realizing it, her assistant, Mark, approached quickly, confusion on his face. "Ma'am, who?" "She's my guest," Elena interrupted firmly. "Prepare something for her in my office, hot chocolate." Maybe Mark blinked. He had never seen his boss talk softly to anyone, let alone a child. Right away, Miss Hayes. Inside the office, Layla ran toward the huge glass window that overlooked the entire city. "Do you own all this, ma'am?" she asked innocently. Elena chuckled faintly. "Not all of it, just this part." Layla turned around, her face glowing. "Then you must be the queen of this big house for the first time in years." Elena laughed. A real, Unguarded laugh that echoed through the room. It startled even her as the morning went on. Lila asked questions about everything, the phones, the computers, the framed photos on the wall. She even asked why everyone called her Miss Hayes instead of Miss Elena. Because they work for me. Elena explained. Doesn't anyone play with you? Lila asked softly. Elena froze. Play? Yeah, the girl said, swinging her legs off the couch. Mama said everyone needs someone to play with, or their heart forgets how to smile. Elena didn't know what to say. Her mother had died when she was only 13. Her father had turned cold, burying himself in work, and she had followed that same path. Somewhere along the way, she had forgotten what it meant to laugh for no reason. At lunchtime, Elena took Lila to the company cafeteria. Her employees whispered as the CEO, the woman who never joined anyone, carried a tray with 2 plates of spaghetti, but she didn't care. She sat beside the girl and watched her eat happily, sauce smearing the corners of her lips. Do you always eat alone, ma'am? Lila asked suddenly. Yes, Elena said honestly. That's sad, the girl replied, shaking her head. You should eat with friends. Food tastes better when you share it. The words hit Elena deeper than she expected. How many meals had she eaten in silence, surrounded by success but starved of love? After lunch, she showed Lila her favorite spot, a small rooftop garden above the company. Hidden from everyone else, Lila ran between the flowers, laughing, her tiny hands brushing against the petals. Ma'am, this place is like heaven, she said. Elena smiled, watching her. It's peaceful up here. I come when I want to think. Lila looked up at her. Do you come when you miss someone? Elena hesitated. Yes, I suppose I do then. Can we sit here together and think about our mamas? That sentence broke her. The ice queen of Aristocorp, the woman who hadn't shed a tear in a decade, turned away, blinking fast, but the tears came anyway, soft and quiet. Yes, she whispered weak, and they sat side by side, the city roaring below, the wind tugging at their hair. For a moment, time seemed to hold its breath. Elena realized how strange it was. This little girl had walked into her life only hours ago, yet she had melted walls built over years when the sun began to set. Lila leaned against her arm. Ma'am, thank you for today. I haven't felt warm like this in a long time. Elena looked down. Where will you go tonight? The child's smile faded. Maybe the church. Father Thomas lets me sleep near the stairs sometimes. That answered twisted something inside Elena. The thought of Lila alone in the cold, clutching that worn-out teddy bear, was unbearable. Lila, she said quietly, would you like to come home with me for tonight? Just tonight? The girl's eyes widened. Really, you mean your real home? Yes, Lila nodded, eagerly, her eyes shining with joy. I'd love that, ma'am. That night, the mansion that usually echoed with silence came alive with small footsteps and innocent laughter. Lila explored every corner, the big chandelier, the piano, the huge staircase. This place looks like a castle, she exclaimed. Elena smiled, feeling something she hadn't felt in years. Warmth. She made Lila a warm bath, lent her one of her cashmere robes, and tucked her into a soft bed. When she turned to leave, a small voice stopped her. Ma'am, will you stay until I fall asleep? Elena hesitated, then sat by the bed. Lila reached out and held her hand. You're kind, she whispered. Mama would like you. That night, Elena didn't go back to her laptop or her endless reports. She stayed right there, watching the child sleep. Something inside her changed forever. Morning came with sunlight spilling through the curtains. Elena woke to find Lila already awake, sitting by the window, humming softly to her teddy bear. Good morning, Elena said. Good morning, ma'am, the girl replied cheerfully. I was waiting for you. Can we make breakfast together? Elena laughed. Breakfast? You'll have to teach me. I'm not very good at that. Together they made pancakes, messy, uneven, but full of laughter. The kitchen smelled of butter and syrup, and Elena couldn't remember the last time her home had felt this alive. As they sat to eat, Lila said quietly, Ma'am, I know I can't stay here forever. The other kids at the church need help too. But thank you for making me feel like I had a mama again. Elena froze. Lila, the girl smiled bravely. Don't cry, ma'am. You gave me one perfect day. That's more than I ever dreamed. Tears blurred Elena's vision. She stood, walked around the table, and hugged the little girl tightly. Lila, you're not leaving. Not if I can help it. She spent the next hours on the phone, with the shelter, with the authorities, with every contact she had, and by noon, papers were signed. Lila was no longer alone. When Elena knelt down and said, You're home now, sweetheart, the child threw her arms around her neck. I love you, Mama. Elena, she whispered. And the ice queen of Aristocorp, the woman who once ruled the city with cold precision, let her tears fall freely that day. Two lost souls found family in each other.